Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boxville here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be taking a look at what is the best armored car, an updated 2017 version. So the reason I'm making this video is because we've gotten a lot of armored vehicles since I've made this video. So what I'm going to be doing today is kind of giving you a Spark Notes, too long didn't read version of all the armored vehicles we have in the game, their pros, their cons, and what situations they're good for. Now, I'm only going to be doing this on vehicles that can be stored in some sort of garage, like a vehicle warehouse or a CEO office garage. I'm not going to be talking about boats or helicopters if any of them are armored, and I'll touch on some miscellaneous ones at the end. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump straight into it. The first vehicle we're going to be talking about today, as I'm going to be going in chronological order of when they were released. So we have to go all the way back to 2015, and that one is the armored Kuruma. So a little bit about the armored Kuruma. It's pretty quick. It's a sports car. It can seat 4 people. The strong suit of the Kuruma is it has nearly 100% bullet protection. So you will eventually die if you're shot enough in this, but it takes a lot of precision, a lot of accuracy, and a whole lot of bullets. As you can see here, the glass simply does not break at all. So whether it's other players or NPCs, you're pretty much 100% protected inside the Kuruma. However, the one drawback is one explosion will destroy this vehicle. So unfortunately, if you're going against another player, they'd be foolish to shoot at you when they could just fire an RPG or throw a sticky bomb your way and you'll blow up instantly. But the Kuruma is pretty great as far as transporting through your friends and surviving a ton of bullets. All right, moving on to our second armored vehicle, and that is the Insurgent. So the Insurgent also came with the heist update, and the big thing about the Insurgent is it has 2 major things it excels in. Number 1 is the amount of people it can carry. The regular one is 6. That's a ton, and that's really awesome. It also has very high explosive protection. I think it's like 6 RPGs or something like that. However, its one downfall is you essentially get no bullet protection at all. I don't know if the windscreen or the windshield has any bullet resistance, but they basically just go straight through. Another thing that's pretty great about the Insurgent is its stopping power. This thing mows through other cars. If you want to clear traffic, it's no Phantom Wedge, but it's pretty good in terms of getting other vehicles out of the way. Now, moving on to the bigger and badder brother, the Insurgent Pickup Custom, it shares most of the same features. Very high explosive protection, almost no bullet protection. It can seat 9 people, which is also really great. However, up until recently, the 3 extra people were very exposed. Obviously, the person on the gunner at the top and the 2 people in the back almost had no protection. And it was a Pegasus vehicle, meaning that you couldn't really call it in anytime you wanted to. You had to use the Pegasus service. However, now with the addition of the Insurgent Pickup Custom, does that change the game? Well, kind of, because the armor that you can actually get on the Insurgent Pickup Custom doesn't really protect you at all inside of the vehicle. Does it provide a little bit of better protection for the gunner up top? Absolutely. And overall, is it a better and bigger upgrade to the Insurgent Pickup? Yes, it is. But at the end of the day, it's essentially still the same thing with just a bunch of little add-ons and things you can do, like applying liveries and a whole bunch of other stuff. So is it an upgrade? Yes. But enough to move it completely up the list on our countdown today? Not necessarily. Okay, armored vehicle number 4, I'm going to include all the vehicles that were added in Executives and Other Criminals. So this update came out in late December 2015, and there was a handful of vehicles that were all added that had armor variants. The Cognoscenti, Cognoscenti 55, Shafter V12, Shafter LWB, Baller LWB. Now, the reason I'm packaging these vehicles together is because essentially at the end of the day, they all share the same properties. Let's start with bullet resistance. The bullet resistance is actually pretty good. Now, it's not on the level of the Kuruma, but it's not on the level of the Insurgent either. The windscreen won't break until about 7 to 10 bullets have actually gone through, and then you'll see the shattering effect. So essentially, this will allow you to survive maybe 1 gunfight without taking any damage, which is actually quite nice before you'll start to have bullets come through and actually hit you. Now, one of the other good things about this is that it can survive 1 explosive. So it does have mild explosive protection, and that's pretty cool. And again, another reason why I'm packaging them all together is they can all seat 4 people, whether it's the Shafter, the XLS, and they all have the same stats and stuff like that. So those are the Executive and Other Criminals vehicles, which is kind of like a best of both worlds between the Kurumas and the Insurgents, in my opinion. Moving on to our next vehicle, we have the Duke of Death. So when this was added into the game, this was very awesome, and the Duke of Death is pretty cool. As far as bullet resistance go, there really is none because there are no windows. Now, you do have very unique armor plating where the driver is the most exposed, and on the sides and on the passenger seat, there's very small slits in which you can be shot at. Now, for the most part, the armor on the Duke of Death is cosmetic. So if you actually shoot through those like side platings or on the back, you're still going to get the kill. Mainly what that does is just a cosmetic illusion, like it's harder to see your character, so you may not know where to aim. But one thing that the Duke of Death does do really well, it's ramming power, stopping power. Unbelievable. It's very, very quick for the vehicle it is, and it can also survive one explosive too, which is really great. So it's kind of like the two-door version of the Kuruma. You lose a little bit of the bullet protection, you gain a little bit in explosive, and you also get that massive speed and ramming power boost, which is pretty awesome. Okay, moving on to import-export, which is where we got the next set of armored vehicles. Now, there's two that I consider, the armored Boxville and the Phantom Wedge. So the thing about the armored Boxville that probably upsets me the most is it's in no way, shape, and form armored. If you try and shoot through the windows, it breaks almost instantly. There is no bullet protection right there. Also, it doesn't come with bulletproof tires by default, and you obviously can't upgrade it in the LSC. What's the logic behind that? This thing is a total waste, and it explodes with one sticky bomb, RPG, or grenade, making it incredibly worthless if you run into really anyone, as almost any weapon will be able to kill you. And the same thing kind of goes with the Phantom Wedge. I know it isn't supposed to be technically armored, but it does have armor on it. And again, same thing, you can shoot straight through the windows, and you can blow it up with one sticky bomb too. I kind of wish these vehicles that cost millions and millions of dollars maybe had a little bit more explosive resistance than just regular old cars that you pull out on the street. Now, I almost completely forgot about one vehicle, but it's okay because it's absolutely terrible, and that is the technical custom. So this vehicle is awful. It has no explosive resistance whatsoever. It has no bullet resistance whatsoever either. It's basically the worst version of the Insurgent pickup custom. So this one is just a total L. Don't buy it. It's not good at all. But I completely forgot about it, that it had all those armor upgrades when it became the custom version. So don't buy yourself this vehicle. Just save your money. There's nothing positive about it. So don't buy the technical custom. All right, moving on to the gun running vehicles. And we're going to be starting with the Phantom Custom and the Hauler Custom. Now, most of the times you'll have this hauling your mobile operation center, but they can be used just like any other normal vehicle, and let's see how they go. So the Phantom Custom doesn't really have all that good bullet protection at all. It might have survived a couple more bullets than normal, but as soon as I started shooting the glass, it blew up instantly, and it also exploded with one sticky bomb. So to be fair, I expected the Phantom Custom to explode because there was really no armor on there, but the Hauler Custom has a ton of armor on it. So let's see if it's any different. Well, it is slightly when it comes to bullet protection. So each panel of glass is different, and it did look to absorb 7 to 10 bullets before it ended up shattering. So it looks like with the Hauler Custom, you do get a little bit of better protection, but does that really matter at the end of the day? No, because you can end up still shooting through it, and it still blows up with one sticky bomb or one RPG. So again, no extra explosive protection right there. And then as far as all the gun running vehicles go, this is where it gets kind of tricky because I can talk about their armor resistance all day long, which ironically in some of them isn't anything at all. Like the weaponized Tampa, it explodes with one sticky bomb. Same with the Dune. And each of them is going to be really, for the most part, subjective. You might love the weaponized Tampa because it's quick and it has the minigun on top. You might love the half-track Dune loader because it's kind of slow, but it's beefy and has a lot of firepower. So it's hard for me to say this one is better than the other. So really, you just have to weigh the pros and the cons of each one of the gun running vehicles. Each one is going to be good for its own different scenario. The only true armored vehicle we got in the gun running update is the Night Shark, the one that just recently came out. And I actually believe the Night Shark might be the best overall armored vehicle. Let's talk about why I think that. Number one, bullet resistance. The armor actually works. The window plating, it's incredible. So if you shoot the window plating, your character's not going to take damage. What a novel concept that is. Now, obviously, the glass is not bulletproof, but if you apply that armor on there, it's going to be pretty difficult to hit you. Now, the rest of the armor is, of course, cosmetic, but what about the explosive resistance? Well, we know from our test yesterday, If you're inside this vehicle, you can survive 8 sticky bombs or 8 RPGs before it blows up. And even more of like homing missiles and, the missiles from the Oppressor and the Ruiner 2000. I think it's over 20. So you can survive a ton in this vehicle. And on top of that, it can seat 4 people and it's quick as hell. This thing is so fast. And as a backup, it's got the machine guns on it as well. Now, they're not great, but at least that is an option. So I think that when you weigh everything, which is bullet protection, explosive resistance, the amount of people it can carry, its overall speed and endurance, which it's basically a mini Insurgent with Kuruma protection and better than Duke of Death speed, I think it's a clear no-brainer here that the new Night Shark is the best overall armored vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, there are a couple of other miscellaneous vehicles that you can find throughout the world, like police transporters and the police riot, that are actually bullet resistant as well, which I do think is pretty unique. Now, the reason I didn't want to include them technically in this video is because you can't store them. There's also a vehicle, the Dock Tug, on the old generation 360 and PS3. That used to be bullet resistant. It is no longer, so I didn't include it in this video. But basically, to put a long story short, I think the new Night Shark is the best overall armored vehicle in the game. But at the end of the day, it's subjective, and each scenario might call for something different. For example, if you've got 8 crew members on, well, you probably are going to want the armored Insurgent pickup custom because it can hold 9 total people. If you're doing something that's very NPC heavy, well, you might want something like the Night Shark or the Kuruma because it's going to have the best bullet resistance and you're going to be able to survive, whereas the NPCs won't be using sticky bombs or stuff like that. And if you're going to be fighting other players, maybe the Insurgent or some of the executives and other criminals' vehicles that can survive explosives would be best for you. So at the end of the day, it all depends on your scenario, but I really do think the Night Shark has now taken that crown in Grand Theft Auto Online as the best overall armored vehicle. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think is the best overall armored car in online. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.